Hodges, keep your eyes peeled. Anderson's goons could be anywhere.
You need to chill out, Martinez. I'm telling you, Anderson has fled town. Hey! Anderson isn't taking any visitors today! Don't worry, we have an appointment.
Hodges, no!
Names: Martinez and Hodges. Time: 25 July.
Well, now how are we supposed to find where Anderson is?
No worries. I have a hot lead. What?
Welcome to the Science of Stunts. Today, we're talking about Fireburns. The very first Fireburn was performed by UGG about 4 seconds after the invention of fire. Unfortunately, we couldn't find any record of who performed the first Fireburn for film, and believe me, we looked. So if you happen to know who it is, please leave a comment down below, as I'd love to be able to credit a true game changer in the industry. Anyway, I'm Casey, and today's episode is all about Fireburns. You see them pop up in pretty much every film genre there is. Action.
For my opinion, you need to lighten up.
War. Comedies. Family movies for some reason. And of course, horror flicks. We haven't been able to find any in rom-coms or period dramas, so I guess the other hope is for Sense and Sensibility and sea monsters to come through. Now, before we get into Fireburns, I reckon it's best if we take it back a step and look at how fire works. Now, if you were a scout back in the day, you probably learned about the fire triangle. You probably didn't learn how to light yourself on fire, unless I missed out on the most awesome merit badge ever. But for any fire, there's 3 parts: fuel, heat, and oxygen. Fuel is the thing that burns easily, the thing that catches that spark that allows the fire to start. That spark is heat, enough to start a reaction, whether it's from a lighter or a lightning strike. The last component is oxygen, which keeps the chemical reaction that produces fire going. If we look at this in stunt terms, the accelerant that we apply to a performer, that's the fuel. The blowtorch that lights the fire, that's the heat. And the performer moving around supplies the fire with enough oxygen to continue burning. In line with that, I had a good chat about fire and Fireburns with special effects guru Chris Murray. With a film career spanning over 40 years working on everything from the original Mad Max to Superman Returns, Chris knows his stuff. So when I sat down and had a chat with him, he raised some excellent points.
True.
You know, it just wasn't. But you talk people through it. What you're particularly aware of is vapor explosions and ignitions. So, you know, hot lights, you know, how long somebody's standing there with the fire gel on them. You don't want to be enveloped in a cloud of vapor air mix, because it can just go, you know, the scariest thing with any of those liquid or gelled fuels is explosive air fuel mixtures. that when you light up, it just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
That's always a worry, So you got to always, once your fuels are out on the walls or floor or on people, you got to keep, your timing's you've got to get into the gag really fast. Once you're filled up, you can't fuck around.
So with that level of risk involved, how does a stunt performer survive being set on fire to begin with? Fireburns, like any stunt, safety is the #1 priority. We start with a special stunt safety substance known as water gel. A specially designed flame-resistant clothing has been saturating in this gel for several minutes. The performer will step into the clothing, and now the clock starts running, as the risk of hypothermia has increased significantly. The performer then jumps into a wetsuit. More gel is applied to the inside of the wetsuit, and a thin layer on the outside to prevent the neoprene from melting. After that, several layers of thick fabrics, ending with your outer layer. That's the one that's going to burn. Accelerant is added to any of the areas that we want to ignite, and a lot more water gel goes onto any exposed skin. As the fire burns, you want to have as much distance between you and that fire as possible. The water gel forms a protective barrier around the performer, preventing the fire from getting close enough to burn. You also have the safety team standing by, armed with fire blankets and extinguishers. After ignition, you perform the actions required for the scene, drop to your stomach at the end, and your safety team runs in to extinguish you before things get too dangerous. Did you get all that? Here, I'll help out. This is Mel, and this is a partial torch. That reflective stuff that you see on Mel's head and on her hands, that's the water gel. That's what's allowing her to perform these stunts safely, get through it all before she calls for safety to come in and extinguish her.
Out.
Stunt performers are essentially storytellers. We're just very physical storytellers. But an artist is only as good as their tools. And I was wondering if there was a way that we could create different tools that would help us tell different stories. Now, during my chat with Chris, I raised the idea of performing coloured fireburns.
Okay, so how does it actually react with the fire? Like, what happens to make Tim and
it's just donating ions into the decomposing alcohol. So it's just losing electrons and becoming ions, which are colouring the flame.
So I ran these ideas past Chris and explained my methodology, and he gave it the thumbs up. So I went to a local university, got some chemicals off them, and with their approval, I went home and started conducting some small-scale tests. So we tested different chemical compounds. We tried different accelerants, and we also tried different materials as well. We were looking to see how various reagents reacted to the heat, which would then produce different wavelengths of colour. So after all those tests, we found that the two best chemicals to use were... Hey, just got a note from the legal team. Apparently giving out all the information on how to do fire burns at home is a, quote, litigious nightmare. This is the part of the video where we have to say please don't be a dope. Don't try any of the stunts you see here at home. Fire burns are dangerous. Leave them to the trained professionals, please. Let's get back to the good stuff. I've got my Nomex soaking in the water gel. I've got my wetsuit, I've got my burn layers ready to go. Nothing left to do but to do it, and fingers crossed we get the result we're after.
He's going to go down to get put out. Yep. So he doesn't have to say anything. If he gets lit here and something happens and he lays down there, you put him out straight away. There's no him yelling, put me out, put me out. And if he gets up and runs, then I will tackle him. And then I'll pick him up and throw him down again.
Okay. All right. Let's get stuck into it. Fire burns are nothing if not glamorous. So we're now just applying the water gel to the inside and outside of the wetsuit, just so the neoprene doesn't burn. Water gel is essentially just thickened water. Just creates that barrier that lets us burn for that little bit longer and just protects us the whole time through. Which? Dad. Oh, hello. Good one, Dad. Thank you.
Right now we're applying the accelerant to my back and then the chemicals. The accelerant is there to help the chemicals adhere to it. Then we'll be applying a slurry of both the chemicals and the accelerant. Then we're going hell for leather for it. Words, I can't talk. Yeah, always respect your safety team. Don't make dirty comments. Mainly because your kidneys are unprotected and they can punch you directly in them. Hey, Mel.
I'm great, how are you?
Good. Good. Brianne, how you going? Lying. Going for a red fire. Fingers crossed. See if the test was right. See if the science was correct. Alright, we're going for green. We're now going for green fire. See how this goes.
Ready, igniting.
Great work.
We can go on.
That was outstanding. That was beautiful green.
Oh,
Nice work, brother.
it worked. We got coloured fire. I'm so happy that actually worked. It helps us as stunt performers tell more of a story. Coloured fire. Am I a zombie? Am I an alien? Is that magic fire? Is it Maleficent? We're now able to add another tool to our toolbox. So the science worked. Thanks very much for watching. All the water gel ever. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe, really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time on the Science of Stunts. Cheers.